So you have this increasingly visible phenomenon of based centrists. People like Jonathan Haidt, Jordan Peterson, Steven Pinker, the entire alt-right. I saw a Twitter spat recently between some Wall Street Journal chick and Tablet Magazine chick who identified as a classical liberal, and then some other chick from Salon was saying that classical liberal is an alt-right gaslight for, secret Nazis or something like that. And, it was utterly ridiculous. But you have these people, these centrists, or sometimes they identify as classical liberals, or sometimes they're just moderate leftists, or sometimes they're kind of towards the right, like the alt-right, but they're still pretty classical liberal and centrist overall. And you have these kind of people, and two in particular, Jordan Peterson and Jonathan Haidt, have talked about how, maybe we need the left and the right. Maybe we need liberals and conservatives. Liberals are more creative, they're more innovative. If things aren't working, they'll try something new. Conservatives are more orderly and conscientious and disciplined, and if, things are pretty much working well already, they'll keep it working. Stuff like that. And Kurt Doolittle breaks it down according to time horizons. He says that the left are very short time horizon people. They're all about the Gibbs. They're all about feeding the children, right? And, give us food, give us medicine. Very short time horizon people. And libertarians are, kind of medium time horizon people. They're like, well, we need property rights and rule of law and markets over a period of some years to organize production. But, we're not going to worry about longer than that. And the right is all about, hey, we got to worry about preserving civilization and culture and kin and nation and all this stuff, for a very long, over a very long time horizon. And maybe the libertarians like, don't worry, none of that stuff's important. I just want to profit, in the medium term. And the leftists are over here going like, gimme. I don't care about the cost to others or myself in the future even. Now, it could be that each of these are maybe a valid or a valuable specialization in some way. Maybe we do have to be looking at short-term concerns and medium-term concerns and long-term concerns and kind of trading off against each other. And maybe liberals and conservatives did at one time serve complementary functions. Okay, I'll concede all that. I'll grant all that. Okay? You're not necessarily wrong there. But here's my problem. These people are liars. These people are parasites. These people are malicious. They're arrogant. They're clueless. They're meddlesome. They're totalitarian. They are condescending. They are haughty. They lack humility. They are the opposite of humble. They are the opposite of honest. They are the opposite of reasonable. I'm talking about the left here. All right? Their motives, all their motives are shady and ulterior. Right? There's just nothing good about them. And maybe it started out as some kind of specialization. Maybe they even still have some complementary qualities. Maybe they still have some unique and valuable insights or wisdom about something. Something. All right? But obviously not everything. Obviously not everything. And the problem with them is they are not people of good faith and goodwill. They are people who are malicious. They are people who are resentful, bitter, envious, grasping, acquisitive, malignant, dishonest, deceitful, manipulative. They're utterly convinced of their own superiority and their own correctness about everything. And so it's impossible to deal with these people. It's impossible to negotiate with these people. It's impossible to argue with these people. It's impossible to discuss anything with these people. It's impossible to compromise with these people because Every compromise is just a concession that will be followed by more demands and more manipulation and more lies and more browbeating and more manipulation and intimidation and bullying, right? It never fucking ends. There's no good faith. There's no goodwill. There's no trust. There's no cooperation possible with these people. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not all of them. Maybe there are some. But there are a lot of fucking people who I just accurately described right now. There are a lot of those fucking people out there. And they are too fucking haughty and arrogant and ignorant and fucking close-minded and malicious, deceitful. Every bad quality you can imagine. There's no way, if they have any unique wisdom or insight or, any value to their perspective at all, if they have any of that, there's no way to get it without getting all the rest, right? Because their point of view is my way, all the way, and only my way, all the time. And that's the only thing that they'll tolerate. They don't have a tolerant bone in their body. They don't have a humble bone in their body. They don't have any self-awareness. They don't have any self-restraint. They don't have any charity or generosity. They do not concede the legitimacy of our interests. They do not concede the legitimacy of our existence. They do not concede the legitimacy of our preferences. They just totally want to run over us, steamroller us. And so I say, if their perspective has any value at all, if they're capable of making any positive contribution at all, if there's no way to get that without getting the rest of them, then fuck it, we can do without them. We can do without them, and we can do a hell of a lot better than we've been doing, trying to take these clowns seriously. We can do without them, and we can do a hell of a lot better than we've been doing, trying to presume these people are acting in good faith and goodwill, because they're not. The last 50 years falsify the assumption that they are, and the last 5 years in particular. So, while I understand why some people might want to say, oh, we can work it out, let's figure it out, let's bring people together, let's heal this divide, let's, depolarize everything. I say forget it. Let's polarize. Let's escalate, right? Because cooperation's not working. But cooperation is not the only option. There are other ways to interact. There are other ways to relate. And conflict is one of those. And conflict we can win, right? So that's what gets my vote. And I don't know if it's best to kick that off immediately or to wait. That all depends on whether we're gaining strength or losing it. That all depends on whether they're gaining strength or losing it. And I don't necessarily know the answer to that question, right? Because there's a lot of factors involved. And it could go either way. You could make either argument. So I'm not claiming I know the answer to that, but I'm claiming that I don't think cooperation or compromise with these people is possible, one, and desirable, two. But I think conflict is winnable, and I think if we lose their wisdom and their insight and the value of their perspective from that, that's a small price to pay compared to the cost we've been paying. So, I don't know. The base centrists have some value for now. They are working to turn things around a little bit, or maybe just slow it down, hold it back. I don't know how to quantify that. But, I think their ultimate hope of preserving the peace, of working things out, of bringing people together, I think that's a pretty vain hope, and I don't think it's going to work out. And I think we'd benefit far more from conflict. Because, the other option besides conflict and cooperation is just non-cooperation. Peaceful separation, going our separate ways, doing our own things, not getting in each other's ways. And that's not an option either, because these people are parasites. And on some level, they have to know it. They have to know that they're worthless parasites who don't create value, who only take value, who only consume and destroy value. And so, divorce for them from the creators of value is not an option.